You were saying about
Are
Rob?
fancy lawyers from your
Okay,
job
skip.
going to be listening to what I
Why
have to say?
skip to the point?
Oh, you're a lawyer now. I know.
Why?
I speak to lawyers different than I speak to everyone else, knowing the nuances and, you know.
Astaghfirullah.
It's the reality.
But you were saying, why should every Muslim?
No, what I'm saying is I think people like Rob Greenfield, they really exemplify what it is to be Muslim, right? And in terms of the values that they practice, they may not know the reasons, but when the way they treat other people, you know, the way they live their lives. I don't know if you've read some of his blog, but like,
Yeah.
he's very anti-materialism, but he
Very.
came from the complete opposite. I mean, he talks about he's like party boy and, you know, spending money right, left, and center,
Yeah.
wanting to be popular. And I think he went through a shift, and then he kind of went toward giving back and getting
Yeah.
rid of material
Possessions,
items
yeah.
and only having a few possessions. And it's like, wait a second, this is familiar. There used to be this guy, you know, the Prophet Muhammad, and he obviously only had a few items.
Yeah.
He named them. You know, the way that he lived his life was very much about giving back to the earth. I mean, environmentalism is an inherent part of our deen, you know.
100%, yeah.
I think oftentimes we get disconnected because we value capitalism
Yeah.
as a way of life. It may not be something that I think we're conscious of.
Yeah.
It's just how we're raised. You know, we go to school
Yeah.
9 to 5. We have these schedules. We have these bells that
Yeah.
teach us, you know, competition or you're going to be crushed. And if you want to be successful, is what you have to do. And if you're not willing to compromise and do this, someone else is going to do it, you know? So you might as well be the guy who makes the money.
So everyone compromises.
So everyone compromises, and it's a race to the bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, that's inevitably what capitalism has given us. But I guess from an economics perspective, we study this, but it's in the short term that we can sustain such practices, right?
Yeah.
We don't know what the long-term effects of driving cars. I mean, we do know because we do
Yeah.
study this stuff, but we're not willing to materialize it. And I was just thinking of this the other day. I mean, most of us are educated. We know, like, pollution's bad, right?
Right.
But do we feel bad when we jump on a plane to go and leisure travel halfway across the world? We don't. We don't think of it. We don't even think about, like, I mean, there's lots of things that cause pollution, right?
Yeah.
We can prevent some and we can't prevent some.
Right.
You know, you may have to get in your car to go across town in suburbia to go to work so that you can make a means for your family. That's one thing, you know.
Yeah.
You may not even think of it as such a bad thing because it's a necessity. But I mean, luxury travel is not a necessity, right?
Right.
I mean, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong in travel. I mean, obviously there are accepted reasons, business, acquiring knowledge, so forth and such. But I think a lot of times we travel without that as an intention,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We're traveling because we're wealthy, right? It's an act. We would put us on Instagram, Twitter, pictures, right? And the environmental impact. I mean, as you probably know, jumping on a plane to travel across the world is not a little. It's a lot,
Yeah.
and the effects may not be felt today. And I think it's one thing if you do it and you feel bad about it, because that's the nature of sinning, right? We're all sinners. We're gonna sin, but you ask for repentance. You at least feel bad about it. You try to make up for amends for it. I think the problem is when you don't even think of it as something wrong. You just think of it as normal, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's sort of the world we live in many things, not just, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm certainly guilty of it. That's how I can speak from that perspective, having known, like, oh, dang,